Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show. And today we're going to talk about the tale of two trades, PayPal and Netflix, of course. We're going to look at what happened there. I gave some trade setups for that. We'll look at Poet, we'll look at SPY. Is Bitcoin about to wake up? We're going to look at that and a whole bunch more, of course. Before we do that, make sure you smash the like button. This does help get this channel out to more people. And of course, appreciate all the comments there that you take the time to write. And that certainly does help support the channel. If you're new, welcome. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification, and you'll get the daily update. So as always, we start with the SPY. And what we saw was a pullback weird to 689. Look at all these levels that I've given have really been great levels to either buy or sell. The 100-day moving average down here, as you can see, it was down at 679, 680. That's held beautifully as it's been tested. And then we pushed up above the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA. We might get across there. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. It crossed down below. Now we might see it cross back above. At the moment, we're holding the 689 Fibonacci. It's really simple, and if you wonder why it shoots down quickly and shoots up, there's just not a lot of volume in there. So that's good news if it bounces back. But long above 689, and we're going to be short below. But there is a fair bit of support there at 687 and down at 686. And we really do need to close above that 9 EMA on the weekly, which is now up to 687. Remember, we did avoid that double weekly candle close below because historically that has not been good and has led to significant drawdowns. We had that one candle close and then the next candle popped up. This one is hanging in the balance. You see this kind of a wick to the top and the bottom. That is an indecision candle. Remember, we have tomorrow, of course, for the market decide, and maybe it closes like that, but that's something to keep an eye. Again, if we do pop down and close below the 9 EMA on the weekly, another weekly candle below, when we just had this one here, would be considered a little bearish, but it's not until we get those two below. Now, also remember February, the second half of February is historically been a little bearish, and that's basically sideways bearish price action there. And then there is usually a little bit of a bounce into April to May, June, somewhere between April and June. Usually there's a significant, the top happens and a significant drawdown in a mid-election year cycle for the last 100 odd years or something. That has been par for the course until the market generally finds a bottom around about September, late September, and then rallies. And usually November, the midterm election date, is usually a good time to buy, but probably a little bit before that. So it could go. So it could get a little rough from April. If it does drop in April. Now the good news is the last 25 years or so, the average has been June. That's where we get that sell in May and go away. However, if you average it over the 100 years, it is more around April. So just be prepared for that. Imagine if we had a dump in April and it doesn't really recover, it doesn't really find a bottom till September. It'll be a lot easier to cope if we find a top in June, and then we have July, August, September, we find a bottom, kind of go sideways into November, and then shoot off from there after the midterm elections have happened. That's just what happens historically. By the way, it doesn't mean that history will repeat. There's no guarantees. And this is not financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? Okay, so what we see here is we had the 9 EMA for Bitcoin. I gave a trade in the Tribal Trades School. Look at that beautiful green dot. I jumped out of the trade there. It was at the time at 69,400 and could have gone short there. And of course, definitely want to go short if we lose the 9 EMA there on the daily. That's sitting at about 67,000 at the moment. It's currently holding support. So for me, short below, and then long above the 69,100. But this, while price is below it, it will continue to drop. And look, if we can bust through this, because we haven't been through, we haven't even had a candle close above this since back in January, so well over a month. So we can get a candle to close above this. This would be quite significant for Bitcoin there. So we'll just we're playing it level to level. How I'm playing it, look, I do expect Bitcoin to get down into the 50s and 40s, maybe even to the 30s and 20s there. At the moment, I have my eye on around the mid to lower 40s range for the bottom of the bear market. Obviously, as we get closer to October this year, which is when usually the market should bottom out, we'll have a bit more of an idea of how things are going to go and if history is going to play out as it has. All right, let's jump over to the tale of two trades. And of course, we had PayPal. I gave this PayPal trade and I said the trade would be over if it lost the 9 EMA on the daily. Well, look, it hasn't yet, so it's still got life, but it pumped obviously on news of Stripe potentially acquiring it and then dumped subsequently. Not as bad as I thought it might have dumped, actually, that Stripe wasn't in conversation. So there maybe still is a deal. It's just, it doesn't seem like it's Stripe, or maybe it's not Stripe yet. We'll just have to wait on this one. So at the moment, obviously, $44.39 is the line in the sand for this that we have to be aware of. There it is there on the daily time frame. That level gets lost, that trade is over. Okay. However, on the other side, the tale of two trades, just like the tale of two cities. I don't know if you've read that book. Might be a little bit old school for you all. This was the other trade I gave yesterday, and of course, Netflix cooked today. Every dog has its day, and it's been a little bit of time before it did that. I was transparent and said I wasn't taking either trade, but for those of you who took it, well done. And this really is only pumped on the news that Warner Brothers, like the Paramount bid better, and it looks like Paramount will be the winner. And Netflix has said, well, they're not going to raise their bid. And of course, if the deal does go to Paramount, and I think that would be the better deal, that if Paramount gets Warner Brothers, and I think the market also agrees with me there. I think they get paid Netflix get paid a $2.8 billion fee, which I think Paramount said they're going to stump up if Warner Brothers does cancel the deal with Netflix, which is pretty amazing because I think Netflix only makes about $14 billion per year. I say only 14 billion, but 2.8 billion is a sizable chunk of change. So no wonder Netflix is saying, "Hey, we'll take the cash." Go above and then lose it. That would be the place also to get out. That's sitting at about $85.53. Now, of course, Poet has been an incredible trade. I gave that trade. It blew up to the upside there, and we have a bit of an indecision candle there. I really do want to see it hold the $6.23 level. And of course, I know many of you took profits up here, and this could be a good entry to get back in the trade. Even went as low as $6.02, and I was a buyer there as that held today. I'll break it down to a smaller time frame there. You can see that beautiful wick that came down. And when you see that come down once and then twice, that's like a tweezer bottom really there. And that was a great place. And I was able to jump into Poet there. Absolutely fantastic there. And already to the upside there on that play. So there's a couple of levels there. Obviously, the technical target is based upon the $6.23, and we have a technical target of $7.28. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. Clearly, if we do lose, the 9 EMA on the daily, then that trade could be kaput. Remember, I gave this trade all the way back here at the 50-week moving average. So this has been an absolutely smasher of a trade. The 15-week moving average, if you don't have it on your trading view, make sure that you add it whenever a stock or a crypto it makes a bullish move above the 50-week moving average. There's usually, even if it doesn't go super like parabolic. I mean, look at this one here. When it had a bullish move above, great. It was a 12% gainer. That's 12%. That's fantastic. And when it goes below, you generally do see some significant downside. If it just has a little bit of a fake out down here, that's all right. That's just stopping people out who put their stop loss right below it. Of course, of course it is. You can just see it right there. Hey, let's stop people out before we send it. Let's stop some more people out before we send it. They're absolutely fantastic if you took the Poet trade. Now, of course, the Discord, I get emails and questions about the Discord all the time. The Discord is currently closed. However, you can join the wait list. And when we do reopen the Discord, which will be, we'll reopen at Easter. for a few days, and we'll reopen it Memorial weekend for a few days there. And then after that, I'm not sure. At some point, the Discord will be full and we'll no longer take or open it up at all. It'll never be open. And it'll just be if people leave the Discord, then whoever's on the wait list will get added through to the Tribal Trades Discord. Now, when you join the waitlist there, what will happen is you will have to add your payment details, but you won't be charged. Okay. I get asked this so much. When will I be charged? You won't be charged. Okay. Until you get added to the Tribal Trades Discord. So don't worry about that. It's just to hold your spot in the wait list. There was at least one more person was added to the Tribal Trades Discord from the wait list. So you can get earlier access than Easter. And it just happens that if somebody has a life change situation, is busy with work or traveling, that they may not be able to use the Discord. And if someone does drop out, then we're able to move someone forward from the wait list there. And of course, if you are Stocks with Josh fam, you do get instant access to the Discord. You just have to let me know. There was someone on the wait list there for about 4 or 5 days, and I didn't realize they were also in the Stocks with Josh Discord. So if you're in the Stocks with Josh Discord, you don't have to wait. You still have to pay, but you don't have to wait. You get immediate access to the Tribal Trades Discord. For everybody else, you'll be on the wait list and you will at least get access by Easter. But I think for many people who are getting on the wait list now, you'll probably get access a little bit before that. If people do not renew the subscription, you'll get access. And look, it's month to month. So there's no lock-in whatsoever there. And of course, I just know though, once you come into the Tribal Trades Discord and you see the life transformational journey that we're undertaking here and the wealth transformational journey that we're taking as well, that the wealth growth that we're seeing happen as people learn the system that we're teaching here, that has led to around about a 90% win rate across all the channels. Our new earnings channel has absolutely been incredible. We've just had win after win after win after win. Yes, we've had a couple of losses. We put that 5% stop loss in there to negate that for those couple of ones that we've had that haven't gone our way. But we've just had so many wins. We had another win with NVIDIA, absolutely incredible yesterday, of course, and we've got more coming up like AVGO and some other earnings that I'm feeling really good about, but we'll have to see how they shake out. That's all we have time for today. So until I see you on the Discord or I see you on the next episode, happy trading.